So which of you is on a path to mastery? Which one of you? And have you ever wondered what the steps are towards mastery? And would you want to be able to take the next step of mastery? Well, Toastmasters, our guest, Einstein, he said, in order to be a master, you have to be willing to put your entire persona. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. Einstein, you see, developed the theory of relativity. He was a master in his own day. And so you can only imagine what steps he took, because you see, we don't truly know what steps were. Many say that he was a genius, that it came maybe naturally, but you see, he really did work hard, because he thought that he wasn't able to make it. When he was young, he was also considered to be thrown out of his school. But mastery has several steps. You know, I've made it easy enough for all of us to gather this shit by using the acronym MASTERY. How clever. Mastery, M-A-S-T-E-R-Y. M starts with a mission. Having a mission. You see, 8 years ago, I struggled with my mission. You see, I was doing consulting and technical work, and I was getting paid for that, but I found there was something lacking for that. And so I started to just discover, look for a mission. And that mission took me to coaching people in their business and also their lives. But I took those courses and went through the training to be able to coach others, to get them to a higher level, to take that experience that I had in the past for those 20 plus years and be able to apply it to other business owners. And here's what I was looking for. My mission was to give more than I ever received. Very simple and so fulfilling. Having a mission that would take me further and take me all the way, Solomon, to my last breath. You see, one day I wrote my epitaph and who I had been, and it brought me to the brink of tears because I felt it. That was my mission. It's a mission. A for apprenticeship. Be willing to be an apprentice. Be willing to take the steps to go forward to the path to mastery. You see, it's not easy at the beginning. And that's why it's called apprentice. Otherwise you start out as a master. But apprenticeship is taking a step at a time. Because you see, there's struggles all along. It's not straight up to the top. In fact, according to George Leonard, he says it's a plateau most of the way. And you have spikes to the top, to the next level. Continuous spikes. Apprenticeship. It's the journey. S. S for social intelligence. That's you, me, and us together. We cannot do it alone. We cannot use willpower to get us where we want to be. It can't be done for those that want true mastery. And yes, many of us try to do that. And yes, you can get to a level. But true mastery demands a social intelligence where Shannon do it all together with others to help us there. Developing that social intelligence. T for technical. I like technical. That was how I came into the business world, using technology. It's hard just to use the technology. And just be it really means your left brain being rational, being able to take something systematically. That's what it means. And there are those that are left brain and those that are not left brain. We call them right brains. Those are the technical. To be able to encompass that in your path to mastery. But once you have the technical, you also have to have the right brain, which is expressive. E is for expressive. So that you use your intuition and your creative mind to be able to combine it with your technical and your social skills to get you where you want to be. Expressive. What comes next? R is the role model. You must find a role model. You must find those that have paved the way to the mastery of where you're going so that you can get their knowledge. You probably heard it said that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and we truly do. Here's a secret about creativity. Creativity is that we can all in this room, if we chose to, focus on a particular aspect, that we all each pitch in our ideas, and together we have moments of expression that gets us to the next level, and we use our role models to help us get there. And each of you are masters in your own area. I don't know you personally. I want to know you personally, but I know by sitting here, each of you have a certain level of mastery that I don't have, and I want to learn from you. And you should share it because we all grow with it. So we have M, which stands for mission. A, which stands for apprenticeship. S, which stands for social intelligence. T, which stands for technical. E for expressive. Expressive. You can express yourself. R is for role model, or another master. So leaves one character left, one letter left. It's Y. Actually, it's you. You need to take action. And you need to take action today. And you need to take action today with gusto, enthusiasm, your whole being, as Einstein said. And let me conclude with what Michelangelo said. Michelangelo? Anybody know Michelangelo? I've heard of that. He said, all that I've ever done seemed like so wonderful to others, but behind that, it was just a lot of hard work.
Rocky, that was a lot of fun. It was really exciting. It was very vibrant and full of life and enthusiasm. And I liked the length of it, you know, and that it was like exciting from beginning to end. There were a lot of surprises. Each word was like I didn't know what was coming next, and they were all really great words and a lot of good ideas behind the words. And I liked the Y equals who. That was good. My only comment was that I would have liked to hear more about Einstein. I was sort of, like drawn in by Einstein, and then there was, then that was it.
Rocky, great eye contact. You're just a master of that, where you engage the audience, pull them in. Name drop in the audience, very personal. You've got two of the three parts of a story. Things were seen, you could see you, stories about you, and know the background. One part was missing, get to that in a little bit. Benefits, a lot of benefits. Why should we care? Why does it matter? Those were right up front. And great vocal variety. It's a great way of talking really loudly. It's whisper. It pulls everybody in. Techniques, each letter is a different technique people can use. And audience response, call and response, very effective to getting us to repeat it. Because once we say it, then it becomes reality. Thoughts for development are very high level because you're at a very high level. Things like, instead of saying many of us, say most people. because that way you can give a chance for this audience to rise above that. Most people will do things this way. You've got a chance in the ground floor to do things a different way. And the same thing like, which one of you are you? That sort of thing. We, change we's into you's. The acronym's a little bit long, so if you're actually going to do this for a longer piece, you may want to cut it down a bit. The thing that was missing from the story was the dialogue, heard. It'd be nice to have the dialogue going back and forth. And you mentioned guru, but who taught you about writing the epitaph or doing the epitaph thing? That was kind of missing. Mastering what? And stories. Make some stories relevant to the audience that can pull things in. And think of uncommon quotes. I think you had some here, but also maybe uncommon people you don't know about, learn about, who mastered something, and then are on their way to some glory.
Formative. I learned a lot, and I liked how you tied it to the word mastery so that we could all remember mastery. I liked how during the presentation you didn't just give us the letters, you also told us about yourself. You told us about your journey, having 20 years of experience, making some changes, and that's something that a lot of people can relate to anywhere they are in their life. So I like hearing that about you. And then you involved us throughout the presentation. I was taking lots of notes during the presentation, and I liked how you asked us, M stands for what? And we had to recall what that stood for. I liked some of the quotes that you used, and at the very end, I really liked how the last one involved a call to action for all of us. So we could also think about how we could apply what you just taught us in the presentation. In terms of growth opportunities, at the parts where you were transitioning and then said the name of someone like Michelangelo or Einstein, maybe phrase it in a question. Has anyone heard of someone called Michelangelo? Something a little playful. Because saying Michelangelo, I kind of just winged it. And then you said, what about Michelangelo?
I'd like to quote the plateau and its spikes. That wonderful life story for me, because I've been plateauing like this for a while. I just like the concept of mastery and just being a master of what you're at. I like the fact when you recapped it all the letters but one. And you came back to the you. I thought that was very well done. Some growth opportunities. I thought the pause in the beginning was a little awkward, at least for me. Just a little awkward. Maybe shorten it a little and then start to your story. And on the mastery examples, build some story and dialogue. You know, you talked about maybe give an example of a mission statement, a technical experience in sort of dialogue or form, just to build it a little.
I enjoyed the presentation. I thought it was, it had a very professional look and feel and sound to it. I kept thinking, I might have seen him on TV somewhere. Because I watch a lot of on YouTube and TV and whatever. So I'm like, he looks like someone I might have seen. So I thought that was very good. And I might have said the volume was really good too. The only thing I wondered about was the technical aspect of the mastery. I thought it was a little thin, but I was so busy scribbling notes, I don't know, maybe I missed something. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it as far as.
Frankie, thank you for your speech. And I liked your energy, your presence. I thought you had a very good introduction, drawing us in with questions. And it's an excellent topic, excellent content. You made it very personal and we learned about you. And your personality comes through as well in your presentation, so I liked that a lot. That recap at the end was wonderful because I was forgetting some of those letters, which leads me to an area of opportunity. With a long acronym like Mastery, I would like something visual. I think a lot of people are visual, and that would help. A flip chart, a whiteboard, anything to put those letters up, and then they stay up, and we know what that stands for.
And as everybody said, it feels very professional, very polished. One of the things that, as in terms of improvement, one thing I can think of is that when we're talking about mastery, it's sort of a vague status, vague feeling, right? If you can actually describe what a master feel like, sort of make us wanted to be in that place, I think that will actually be more interesting.
As usual, informative speech, and there is something in it for us, so we certainly listen to those type of speeches. You started with 3 questions, and I always like to hear questions because that attracts the audience. One is 1 is excellent, but you even tripled it to 3. The review was very well done, and I like the way it's done. That you went all the way before you said what is the why. So that was a masterful mastery of review, and then we were waiting for the why. So that was very, very well done. The review by itself is done. We don't do it often in our presentation. I think that's probably the first time I hear someone, well, let's review together. It's kind of a classroom, but there is a benefit for each one of us. At the end, the conclusion was very well, but I would probably prefer to hear what are you asking us to do. I probably mentioned it in the beginning. You called for action, which I know I've heard it before, that it's good to call, to ask the audience what do you want them to do at the end. But I would prefer to hear something before that you need to prepare whatever X, Y, Z, you need to do this, so here's my call for action. Go ahead.
The opening, and your speech was logical throughout, and I just felt the acronyms just built on each other. Like mission is the building step all the way to the you being the final step. The only suggestion I have for improvement is I heard you say you see, which is kind of close to you now, twice toward the beginning and pretty close proximity to each other.
Rocky, I love the theme of this, which is that we learn from each other and that we must to achieve mastery. I liked your question very much, your intro question really drew me in, which is which of you is on the road to mastery? I was wondering mastery of what? And I think, as has been pointed out, that mastery is perhaps too long an acronym. It's 7 letters. I would suggest perhaps you use the word magus. A magus is a master, a person who is a master, like the wise men, the magi. Magi is just plural of magus, and you can use many of the same things. You can use apprenticeship. Perhaps you could use the word choose a master for find a role model. Growth, perhaps you for us, because we learn from each other, or you could use something else. Those are some things I would suggest. One of the problems I had was when you talked about social intelligence, I was thinking, I don't really know what that means. I wonder what that is. And I was so busy thinking about what S was that I didn't even hear when you talked about T. So I totally missed that in the steps. So I think you need to use smaller words and more easily understood words for us in order to fully master this concept. But I like this idea, and I will be thinking about how I would incorporate this in my own life.
I became a Toastmaster, and I was so animated with distinguish. And I made a mission, and I am now a distinguished Toastmaster. But what you presented today summarizes all of it in a different level. I had my mission. I am always an apprentice because there's always something to learn. My social intelligence got sharpened. I can read people now, a simple nod, a tilt of the head. I can adjust my speech based on little movements that I see in my audience. Technical. There's a lot of things I learn always that normally I will not learn if it's not presented because we deliver what we're passionate about. I am more expressive. I always have role models, and it's always mine. So I am taking your mastery and putting it in my designation. I am not only a distinguished Toastmaster, I am a master.
So, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I will certainly be wrapping it up because I understand that we kind of extended our time limits today. Nonetheless, Rocky, I absolutely adored and loved your presentation. The content was amazing, very informative, and I think we all kind of acknowledge that. Your aura, stage presence was really well, and it was timed well, paced well. Mastery, when you think about it, as you just mentioned, mission, apprentice, social intelligence, technical, expressive, you certainly were, role model, and you. I certainly did notice that you did have a call to action at the end, because you said you need to kind of move on becoming a master. So that was great. I really thought you had a strong opening. I was engaged right from the beginning, and I couldn't wait to find out what more you had to say about becoming a master. I was like, what? So that was great. You know, you really got me all in there. Great voice fluctuation, great command. Yeah, one of the things that I also really loved is when you hit on social intelligence. You were like, social intelligence. So once again, it commanded attention. It let me know this is important. This is something really to pay attention to. So I thought that was great. I also thought, as I mentioned, as far as timing, I thought you recapped really well and at a perfect time. Because that was the point, once again, where I said I have a cold, but still I was kind of like, hey, what was it? You know, and I had written things down, but you recapped it so well, so I was like, oh, this is great, so I can remember this. So I thought that was really well done. Areas of improvement, because in the beginning I was so engaged, and I was definitely engaged throughout, the flow, because you flowed really well, was the Einstein quote, just because you had, you know, that one you might not have memorized, but there was another quote that you did, and it was so fluid. It was the George Leonard quote, and that was just so fluid, and I was there all the way. So I think that was the only area in the beginning for improvement where I would say, hey, maybe memorize that one because you were so awesome with your execution. The other thing is variety as far as the quotes used. I think it was Einstein and then, you know, the George, so maybe some other great folks as well, because there's a lot of great knowledge. Okay, absolutely. And then, and other than that, I think it was a great gift that we got, inspirational, and I was blessed by the message.